Want to learn how to create sensational backgrounds using only ink and paper? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how. This technique is super fun, it's really easy, and it's really eye-catching. Once you know this technique, you can create cards for a variety of occasions using the supplies you have on hand. Hey fellow crafters, I'm Terry and I'm nuts about stamping. I love sharing techniques and project ideas for rubber stamping, scrapbooking, and paper crafting with you each week. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and the bell beside it so that you'll be the first to be notified when my next video goes live. Now, let's get started on today's project. I've decided to use the art gallery bundle to help me create images for the front of my card. And I recommend that is a good starting point for you. Create the images you want on the front and then be guided by those colors to help you create the colorful background. The art gallery stamp set includes the floral gallery dies, and that's what I'm going to use now. Now, as I said, we talked about colors. What you want to do is choose your favorite trio of ink pads. I've decided on Seaside Spray, Night of Navy, and Misty Moonlight. This is my go-to trio lately. I seem to be stuck in a blues rut. You could choose oranges, yellows, greens, purples. Whatever you really like is what you should use for your card. I'm going to bring in a piece of grid paper as my background, and I have a scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I've got the solid image from the art gallery bundle, and I'm going to ink that up using my Seaside Spray ink, and then stamp that down. I want to make sure I get lots of ink on it. Then just press it down like so. Then I'm going to take a contrasting color, and I think I'm going to use Night of Navy for my contrast because I want a really deep contrast color. I could choose Misty Moonlight. Every time I use these three colors, I use a different color combination. Now I've got the second image. I guess it's the image with the, I don't know what you call this. I'm not an artist, but maybe the contrast or the outline, maybe. I'm going to ink that up and stamp it down on top, and that creates quite a striking color contrast. And then so I've got my flower done, and now I want to use the stem from the art gallery stamp set. And a color I have not used in a very long time is mint macaron. So let's give that a go. I've got another piece of Whisper White cardstock. I'm going to ink it up, the image that is, and stamp it down. Perfect. I think that'll be a really nice color to go with the flower that I've stamped. Now I'm going to bring in my die cutting and embossing machine, and I'm going to die cut these images out. So I love that the stamp set has a corresponding set of framelits to go with it. So I've got the flower framelit. So let me get a few things out of your way here so you can see. So I've got the flower framelit. I'm going to put that on top. And then I've got the leaf or the stem framelit right here. Just line everything up and I'll run it through my Big Shot. There we go. I've got the images die cut and ready to go. And while I was stopping the video, I decided to take the happy birthday phrase and I inked it using Seaside Spray and die cut it out using one of the dies in the corresponding die pack that goes with the stamp set. So now let's get started on this really fun technique. So I've got my three colors ready to go, and I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock. So I'm going to start with a plain piece of white cardstock for my background, and let's make a little magic with it. So the first thing you want to do is you want to actually crumple it up, and then you want to open it up, and then you're going to crumple it in a different direction, I guess, or a different way, and then open it up, and then smooth it out just a little bit. But you want sort of some peaks and valleys in this. Then you're going to take your lightest color, which is Seaside Spray, and you're just going to pat it down onto the cardstock. Then you can set it aside to dry. Although our cardstock is so good, it absorbs really quickly. You could take your heat tool and heat set it. Don't think that's really necessary, but you can if you're in a hurry or if you have a different style of ink pads that take a while to dry. So then the next thing you're going to do is repeat. You're going to take it and crumple it up, and then open it up. You can see that the ink hasn't smeared at all. I'm going to crumple it again and open it up. Smooth it just a little bit, and now I'm going to take my second color. So I'm going from lightest to darkest, which is Misty Moonlight, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm just going to pat it down, and you can do as much or as little as you like. You can always go back and add more later. So maybe start with lighter and then add more as desired. Okay, and then I'm just gonna flatten that out. And then, yep, you're right. We're gonna do it one last time. And this time I'm going to use my Night of Navy to add the darkest color. So I'm going to open it, and here's something that's really fun. I don't think I shared this with you yet, is that when you crumple our Whisper White cardstock, it breaks down the fibers. So actually it gets softer and softer, this layer, to touch as you do it. So now I'm going to take the Night of Navy, and I'm going to pat it down like so. Now, I am very happy with that layer, but let's say that you aren't quite as happy. You can always go back and add a little bit more of your lightest color if that's what you want for your layer. So like I said, you can do as much or as little as you want to create a stunning background layer for your cards. So let's go ahead and finish off this card that I've started, shall we? I think the first thing I'm going to do is bring in a scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I'm going to attach my flower image and phrase to it. So I am going to use my Stampin' Dimensionals for the flower. Just going to move that up a little bit. Got a couple of Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of the flower. And then for the stem, I think I'll just adhere that down flat. So I'm going to put my flower like so. And then I'm going to use my multi-purpose liquid glue to adhere the stem flat. And I'm just going to tuck it underneath like so. Just press that down for a second. And then for the happy birthday, I don't know. I think maybe, normally I use mini Stampin' Dimensionals, but today I'm not feeling it. So I'm going to just use some multi-purpose liquid glue as well and adhere that down like so. Perfect. Now, what I'm going to do, since my colors were Night of Navy, Misty Moonlight, and Seaside Spray, I'm going to use layer colors that correspond with that. And while I'm adhering this down, why don't you leave me a comment below and tell me what 3 colors you're going to try on your card if you decide to give this background technique a try. I'd love to hear your favorite trio. It doesn't have to be Stampin' Up. You could just tell me greens or yellows or oranges. What do you think would make a really fun background idea? So I'm going to just set that aside to dry. And then, again, going along with my same color scheme, I decided my card base is going to be Seaside Spray. And again, I'm going to add a layer of Misty Moonlight. And, I guess I should put this on first, shouldn't I? Because that is what this card's all about, is this fun background. If you want to learn other techniques and see other project ideas for using Stampin' Up! Products, I'll leave a link in the comment box below or the description box underneath this video here on YouTube. I'll link over to my newsletters. If you want to sign up, I send 2 newsletters a week with a project you won't see anywhere else. It's free, so you can just have a look each week and I'll provide you with some additional inspiration. There we go. There's that lovely background. I'm really quite taken with it. Then I'm going to adhere again this layer to my card base, like so. Okay, and then the big decision is, I think I'm going to pop it up. That's not normally like me, but I quite like using Stampin' Dimensionals. So it'll give a lift. The background is quite striking. It's quite dark because of the blues. So I think it might make the flower image stand out a little bit better on my card if I use Stampin' Dimensionals and just give it a little bit of a lift off the front. Note to self, don't cut your fingernails before you do a video. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to add this to the front, and there we go. My card is done. Now at this point, I could add all sorts of embellishments, but I'm going to stop now. I'm going to stop this recording because really the purpose of this video was to show you how to create this stunning background using only inks and papers. So I hope you'll give it a try. If you want a complete listing of what I used to make this card, I will link it over to my blog and you can go there and I'll have all the measurements, I'll have all the products I used, and also the ordering numbers, the catalog numbers, if you should decide to order these products from me. I'm Terry. I'm nuts about stamping. I hope you'll try some unique background ideas today too. Bye for now.